Artificial intelligence, or AI, is reshaping the world of content creation. It offers tools capable of drafting everything from blogs, social media posts, to videos like this. And sometimes it can be done in mere seconds. But as with any groundbreaking technology, the hype surrounding AI has resulted in plenty of myths and misconceptions. Hi there, it's Adrian from Numero Web Solutions. And if you're a content creator or a marketer, even a business owner or entrepreneur, you're likely wondering where the truth lies with regards to AI. Can AI really replace a human writer? Is it as seamless and effective as it seems? So in this video, I want to cut through the buzz and debunk 5 common myths about AI content generation so you can make an informed decision about how you can leverage AI for your business. And look, you're going to want to see myth number 5 because it's probably the most controversial when it comes to AI replacing humans. Okay, so let's go. Now, before I get into these 5 myths, I want to preface here that I'm well aware that AI isn't just an integral advancement for business, but that its popularity is growing. Statista conducted a US survey back in March 2023. And back then, they reported that 42% of marketers were using generative AI for social media content. And they also reported that 14% of small and mid-sized businesses were also using AI for marketing, and 39% would consider it for the future. So considering those surveys are almost 2 years old as of this recording, means those numbers have certainly bumped up significantly. We know that now, in 2025, AI is definitely going to be at the forefront of a lot of businesses' marketing strategies, and hey, it should be. But with this video, I really want to hammer home why AI isn't the be-all and end-all for your business, and letting it run on autopilot isn't a good idea. So let's start with myth number 1, that AI can write anything. Okay, at first glance, AI seems limitless, capable of generating content on just about any topic in a snap. With platforms like ChatGPT or Jasper, it feels like there's no subject that AI can't tackle. But here's the catch. AI-generated content often lacks depth, it lacks nuance, and especially lacks creativity. AI can fall short because of its inability to understand context. It can misunderstand subtleties like idioms or cultural references, leading to content that feels just plain off target. So for example, the phrase, "in business, you can't turn a blind eye to the overall economy." It's pretty clear to a human. But for AI, it might not understand what it means to, quote, turn a blind eye. It also lacks emotional depth. Crafting a heartfelt narrative or relatable anecdote, AI just can't emulate human empathy and emotion. You need, as a human being, to add in that emotion. AI isn't going to paint the picture of emotions that a human can relate to. There's also going to be creativity gaps. AI tends to produce generic content, making it challenging for brands to stand out. Now, remember, AI is training itself on the internet and is going to produce generic content unless you go through it and make those creative enhancements. So the takeaway on myth number 1, use AI to create a starting point, but you need to rely on human expertise to add those finishing touches that bring originality and depth to your content. Okay, myth number 2 is that AI is going to replace human writers. Now, does the rise of AI spell the doom for writers? Is it like Terminator Judgment Day where you get all those robots walking around taking out all the humans? Well, no. As someone who runs a company that employs human writers and editors, I can truly say that AI is not a replacement for a real writer. However, AI is a powerful tool that can enhance the productivity of writers and editors alike. So how do they support these writers and editors? Well, first of all, it's a great tool for brainstorming. AI can generate blog topics, headlines, descriptions, video topics in just seconds, and that saves time. Here at Numero, we use AI to do all that. We get some guidelines and topics, and then we take that as an outline for our writers to get started. It's also great for outlining because writers can use AI to create these rough outlines as structural guide for the content. And this is great because it shows us and our clients a quick snapshot that we can then hone and perfect before we write. And of course, AI is a great research assistant. It can condense vast amounts of data, pulling together key insights from research material. Now, this can get a bit sticky because AI facts need to be double checked and cross-referenced. And I'm going to explain about that a little bit later. But here's why humans remain essential for content. Like I said earlier, creativity, using that turning a blind eye analogy, only humans can craft metaphors and paint vivid imagery or create compelling story arcs that deeply engage readers. And of course, there's the ethical judgment. Writing about sensitive topics or addressing gray areas can require emotional intelligence nuances that AI just doesn't have. So for example, you might ask AI to create content on how to avoid a disaster at the workplace. And AI might start writing content about natural disasters like earthquakes and hurricanes. And that's not the kind of disaster you were talking about. Look, what I'm trying to say here is writers aren't going anywhere, but those who use AI as a collaborator will likely have that competitive edge. Myth number 3, AI content is always original. It's funny. I was at a party recently. I was talking about AI content, and there's some people there, one guy in particular, hope he's not watching this video, believe that AI is always generating unique, fresh content, but that's not always the case. As I said before, AI facts need to be double checked and cross-referenced because AI relies on massive data sets made up of existing information from the internet, which can sometimes lead to repetition or even inadvertent plagiarism. So the risks are repetition. AI is regurgitating similar phrases or ideas seen elsewhere. It's leading to unoriginal content, which can do more harm than good for your SEO strategy. And of course, plagiarism. Without proper safeguards, AI could generate content that's very similar, too similar to its source materials, and that could potentially breach copyright laws. It could get you into a lot of trouble. So how to avoid it? Well, use plagiarism checkers. There's Copyscape is good. Grammarly, I know that Jasper's got a plugin for theirs that you can use, that a paid plugin that you can check to see if everything's, original. That can ensure that your AI generated content is unique. And of course, you want to add a human touch. And I'll say it again. Writers, editors can refine and enhance AI generated drafts. So they'll add distinct insights and they can rephrase general content. So remember, AI is like a well-trained assistant. It excels at summarizing what already exists, but it struggles to innovate without human direction. Okay, myth number 4, AI content is perfect. Look, it's tempting to think AI creates flawless, ready to publish content. You just cut and paste, throw it on your website. It's going to be great. But the reality is quite different. AI often makes errors, and some of which could harm your brand's credibility if left unchecked. So here's some common errors in AI-generated comment. First of all, factual mistakes. AI might misstate stats or introduce inaccuracies when sourcing information. Sometimes facts that AI pulls are outdated, so it's important to double check any content AI spits out to make sure it's accurate. There's also tone missteps. AI can use a robotic tone, overly formal approach, like if you'll disjointed, especially in casual or conversational content. Sometimes when reading a blog post or an article, I can tell by the choppiness and some unnecessary phrasing that it was definitely a cut and paste job from AI. So remember to review it carefully or have a professional editor, a human editor, review it carefully. And of course, there is the grammar and syntax issues. While generally reliable, AI occasionally produces awkward phrasing and more complex sentences. I have a university-educated professional editor on my staff, and she's looked at some AI-generated content before as a test and found a lot of grammatical and syntax issues. So be careful with that. Look, human review for AI content is non-negotiable. Editing, fact-checking, adjusting tone are essential steps to ensure quality. Think of AI-generated content as a rough draft. It's always beneficial to have a human polish it up so that it meets your brand standards. Okay, now before I reveal that controversial myth number 5, I want you to remember to hit that subscribe button below. Please hit the like button if you're liking the video. Hit that notification bell too so you don't miss out on any of the videos we produce about digital marketing and business growth. So, myth number 5, AI content is the future alone. And notice I put alone in brackets because this is one I said is so controversial because a lot of people believe that all the content on the internet will be dominated by content generated solely by AI. And yes, AI has a bright future in content creation. I said it before of all the benefits that AI has and how it can be harnessed for your business. But thinking it will entirely replace human input, well, that paints an incomplete picture. Envision AI not as the future, but as a catalyst for human creativity. And just to prove a point there, if you think that last sentence I said sounded a little weird, well, it was, because it was 100% generated by AI. You see what I mean? AI is great for coming up with ideas, but personally, I would never say something like envision AI not as a future, but as a catalyst for human creativity. No, instead, I would say something like, I see AI as a valuable tool in the future that can help boost our creativity and maximize our productivity. And that's going to be a hard fact for every business out there because we all have the tools at our disposal, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Jasper or whatever. But it's how we use those tools that's going to dictate if they work well for us or not. So some key takeaways from this. AI has revolutionized content creation. It offers speed, scalability, and assistance to content creators. But it has its limitations. Those are creativity gaps, factual errors, the inability to infuse emotional depth. And look, that just proves that we as humans need to be involved. We need to harness it and make sure we steer our AI in the right direction for our content so we're creative, we're informative, we're adding value, and we're speaking as a human to another human. So, speaking of speaking to human, what do you think of AI in content creation? What are your experiences with it personally or as a business? Let me know in the comment section below. And for some more insight on AI generated content, check out my other video on this subject right here.